blew him away with a fastball.
Why not?
Little check swing and diving is Bauer. He'll get up and throw him out.
Anytime you make a trade. And another breaking ball.
Duda Baez.
Back to work on Duvall. 1-2.
Struck him out. 1-2. Swing and a miss. And how about Trevor Bauer?
It is a Bauer Watch Friday. Welcome in, everybody. So, Joel Sherman has the word that there is a 12 o'clock deadline for Trevor Bauer to accept the Mets offer. The Mets are not playing around with this thing. They don't want this to drag out any longer. Who cares about your YouTube, announcement or anything? He wants it done. And Joel Sherman is out there with the tweet. So welcome in. Hope everybody's having just an awesome Friday, an excellent Friday. We're going to kick off Bauer Watch. We're going to try to get this thing in maybe we get a decision. We are going to be counting down to 12 o'clock Eastern, and we're going to see if we get a deal. We'll stay a little bit beyond 12 o'clock to see if anything happens. A deal might go down, but there still could be silence because Trevor Bauer, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Trevor Bauer works it into his contract that nobody breaks this, nobody talks about this except him once the deal's done. And that if somebody breaks it from the Mets media or leaks it, the contract is null and void. I wouldn't be surprised if he works that in there. But the Mets have the offer. It's a pretty significant offer. It's $40 million in the first year. That's the word that we're hearing. So here, let's do this. Let's get this up. Again, everybody, if you are new, if you're just hanging out, or if you've been here for a while, I do see a lot of familiar faces already. If you see something, say something. That's how we rock. That's how we roll. On Twitter, at Jim Riley Live, send it to me. If you see something, it's really the Joel Sherman. I think Heyman has backed it up that there's a deadline in place, and we have, again, Joel Sherman, 40 million in year one, and then again in year two, less in year three, total between 100 and 110 million. Feels like the decision is coming soon. Well, the decision has to be by noon, right? And I've been saying this for a while that this is a situation where, the Mets have been, if we're talking multiple years, the Mets have been the team for weeks now. The Dodgers have come in if it's going to be a one-year deal, but the Mets have to be tired of waiting around. They have to be tired of waiting around. 40 million a year is absolutely insane, Kyle. The point about this with the 40 million, listen, I mean, if it's a one-year situation that it's 40 million, now, I mean, it looks like it's 2 years. Then, as a franchise, you kind of just, I don't know, maybe you bite the bullet for a year or two, you deal with that, and then you move on. But this is interesting. We are going to watch this. We're going to see how this plays out. I got to think that we'll see some activity on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter. If you see anything from Rachel Luba, listen, I'm not following everybody. I'm following a good number. I'm following all of the insiders in the baseball world, following Rachel Luba, following Momentum and all that. But if you're following any local New York personalities or players, something could get leaked from a player. The Marcus Semien to the Blue Jays, Carlos Baerga put that out there. You had Brendan Kuhn put it out there that Springer was happening. So, there's and last night with Bauer, there were other accounts that were not the Rosenthals or the Passons, sort of more of the connected to the organizations saying a deal was done. But, it's interesting now because Sherman is putting out that the Mets have it. So if a deal was done last night, maybe the deal in Trevor Bauer's mind was done. Maybe he just didn't sign. And the Mets are like, sign this thing. Let's get it done. Let's move on. So we are going to be watching that. We're going to do the countdown. We're going to keep an eye on this. If the Mets get Trevor Bauer, the Mets are in a great position to take that National League East, to take a run into the postseason, a deep run into the postseason, because they'll have the depth in that rotation. They'll have two maybe 3, you could even argue aces at the top of that lineup, the rotation. We've talked about it on the channel here for a few weeks that if you want to be considered a World Series contender, all the World Series contenders right now have 2 aces at the top of the rotation. And the Mets with Trevor Bauer and Jacob deGrom would certainly be in that situation. Just put yourself in October right now, and you're entering into a 5-game series against, let's say it's the Padres, and the Padres are throwing out Darvish, and they're throwing out Snell and then Lamet, right? You're going to want to counter with the best you possibly can. And if the Mets are countering with deGrom and Bauer and Carrasco, or let's say, Syndergaard's back and he's on fire, you match up well. So Bauer puts the Mets in a great position to try to be ready for that. That's what the Mets are a playoff team. I think the Mets are a playoff team without Trevor Bauer. Are they a favorite to make it to the World Series without Trevor Bauer? I think that's the move here. They're trying to get it there. Mets Nation, welcome in. We are live here on a Friday morning. Rare that we're able to go live. We're going to do this for a little while here. Again, we're going to go up past 12 o'clock. We're going to go a little bit past 12 o'clock, and we'll kind of see how it goes. You might see the kids pop in. If they do, they do. It's all good today. We're rolling with this. I want to be on here to talk about it. This is exciting stuff. This is right up there with, when Springer signed. That was exciting. So I want to be here to talk about it with you guys, react to it, and give my spin on it. So let's go. And I think, unfortunately, MLB Network right now, they've probably just got a replay of Hot Stove going. So there's, I'm here to give you guys a live conversation about this thing. So this is big. We have some folks thinking that maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe he doesn't sign with the Mets. I think all signs are pointing towards that. The Dodgers certainly could swoop in. Crazy things have happened before where it looked like it was going one way and then it pivots and goes a whole different direction. It wasn't as big of a name, but Brad Hand, the tweet was out there that Brad Hand was going to the Mets, and it didn't happen. He went to the Nats. I don't think it's going to play out this way, though. Everything is just pointing in that direction. Nightingale came on last night and dropped his nugget. That has been dragged through the mud. I understand that. But what, the intent behind that might have been just to neg on Bauer and Luba, right? He may know what's going on, and he's just trying to throw cold water on their decision 2.0 that I'm sure they've been planning for the YouTube channel. So who knows? We are going to see how that kind of plays out. And John, where do you think he's going? Where do you think is the best fit for Bauer? Listen, if you watch this video on where he is, what he wants partnership. It's not exclusively about the money. It doesn't have to be a major market. Funny story. It's down to 2 major markets. He wants to be able to pitch every 4 days, all that going on. For half of what his desired attributes in a team, that list, half of that fits the Mets, half of it fits the Dodgers, right? The Dodgers are the Dodgers with Trevor Bauer. The NLCS is a layup, and they'll be favored in the NLCS. So if he wants to win a World Series in 2021, the easier road is the Dodgers. Now the Mets still will be in the conversation for the World Series, but it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder because that National League East is going to be the toughest division in baseball. The Marlins are going to be the best last place team of every division. So it's going to be a harder grind throughout the regular season. And then in the postseason, they're going to have to get past the Cardinals, the Padres, or the Dodgers, or 2 of those teams to get to the World Series, right? The Cardinals are going to be, tough with the moves they've made. The Padres, the Dodgers, it's just going to be harder. It's going to be harder. So if he just wants an easier path to the World Series, he goes to the Dodgers. What's up, Damon? Welcome in. I just want to remind everybody in here. So we've got a couple rules here. If you see something, listen, if you want to say it in the chat, but you got to tweet at me. You got to source it. You got to tell me where you see it. If you see Bauer to the Mets, it's done. I need you to tweet that at me, at Jim Riley Live. And the other rule is, listen, I understand the chat gets going and you want me to see what you say 2 times. That's what we got. You can repeat something twice. After that, I might put you in timeout. Kyle might put you in timeout. We are going to grow the mod situation because with streams like this, it does get going a little bit quicker. So that's it. Simple. It's easy. This is a fun environment. I want you guys to have fun. That's what we're trying for here. So let's have some fun with this. Let's watch this. We've got about 24 minutes to go on Trevor Bauer. Watch that 12 o'clock deadline. We got to see what happens. Need you guys to be my lookouts. What are we seeing? I got a lot of great last night we were doing Bauer Watch. Got some really great information through Twitter from you guys. So I want you to do that again. Again, at Jim Riley Live, be a part of the show. Be a part of this countdown with that. Just find me on Twitter at Jim Riley Live. And again, the way I kind of roll here is if you follow me during the live stream, I'll follow you back. So, at the very least, you get a follower. Who doesn't like a follower? Make sure you hit that like too. Hit that like, pound on that thing. Get that thing, take a poke at the like button. Let's get this thing over 100 before 12 o'clock. That's our goal. Let's get to 100 likes before 12 o'clock. Let's try to get this thing in here. Let's make an offering to the baseball gods. Hit that like. That'll be our offering to the baseball gods to get us some concrete information, something good by 12 o'clock. Let's do that. Orange and Blue Shirt Podcast. You're welcome, my man. So let's keep an eye. Let's see what happens. The Mets with Trevor Bauer, certainly, again, it's going to be good. Here's what a potential rotation could look like with Bauer on the Mets. Let's get this out of the way. If Stroman is your 5, think about it. When Stroman came over from Toronto, Stroman was Toronto's 1. All right. You got a guy who was a 1 at the 5. Carrasco, before Bieber showed up, you could say he was the 1 in Cleveland, and he's a 4. And the depth on top of that, you got Luke Casey, who'll be coming out of the pen or be a spot starter. You got Peterson, who'll be coming out of the pen or be a spot starter. So you put yourself in position. So let's play it out because, again, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a grind. They're going to be banging with the Nats and the Braves and the Marlins and the Phillies all year long. So let's say a couple guys get hurt, right? That's where this Trevor Bauer move is even more important because it gives you the depth. Because let's say Carrasco gets hurt. Okay, next man up. Peterson slides in. You're still fine. Let's say Syndergaard, when he comes back, he's not effective. Okay, fine. Next man up. You still have DeGrom and Bauer at the top. And Yamamoto. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for reminding me about Jordan Yamamoto. That trade that just went down. So that is all very interesting. Rachel Luba has tweeted. All it is, let's see, is a she's got a laugh. She's got a laughing emoji. That's all she's got. We're trying to see what's going on. Nothing concrete coming from Rachel Luba yet. All right, so we're watching that. We're watching Luba. We're watching Momentum. We're watching Bauer. Obviously, the big guys. I still have a feeling. I'm interested that Joel Sherman. He's obviously connected with the Mets, but to have that out there, this is fascinating. This is fascinating because we know Bauer wants to put this out there. Let's see, Kyle, just short little offshoot of the Bauer situation. Azuna's market has been heating up. Rays and Braves much involved. Listen, I would love for me to the Rays or the Braves because if it's the Rays or the Braves on Ozuna, I've got thumbnails ready for those two teams. If a mystery team comes in, I'm going to be scrambling. So let's get Ozuna to Rays and Braves. Anybody that's a Braves fan or a Rays fan, when the Ozuna deal goes down, I'll be back live talking about that. That'll be a big move. One of the biggest bats from last year. One of the biggest bats from last year could be getting close to signing. So that's big. So Trevor Bauer, again, with the Mets, gives them a situation. Logan, let's see what we got. Again, if you see something, say something. We are Thomas Nito tweeting at Bauer outage, the Judge Judy clock. Thomas Nito is on this thing. Thomas Nito has been a good follow for this whole situation. So we are watching this. Ernie, welcome in, my friend. All right, let's get back to our Bauer watch. So we're doing the Bauer watch here. Logan sending me the Thomas Nito situation, the tweet with with Judge Judy doing the whole thing where she's pointing to her watch. If you see something, say something. Get to me on Twitter at Jim Riley Live. Follow me. I'll follow you back. We'll do that whole thing. But if you see some information, we get the Thomas Nito thing. That's great. We'll put it on there, and we will we'll talk about that. But this is going to be an interesting. We got 19 minutes now until the deadline. 19 minutes until the deadline. We got 200 people in here right now. Thank you, everybody that is in here. We're trying to get this thing to 100 likes as quick as we can. It is our offering to the baseball gods. If you want Trevor Bauer to get this thing done in the next 20 minutes, make sure you hit that like and let's get this thing done. So hit the like for sure. And if you're just finding me for the first time today, thank you for hopping in. If baseball is life to you, please subscribe to the channel, join Ballcap Nation, and let's make something happen together. You guys, the community, are a big part of this. So if you do come in and subscribe, let me know in the chat, because if I see that you subscribe in the chat, I'd like to give you a shout out and a thank you. So we are watching this thing. We got 18 minutes to go. 18 minutes just waiting for some information. Joel Sherman put it out there about 40 minutes ago. It was right around 11 o'clock that the deadline was set by the Mets. They're done. They are sick of waiting. I'm not surprised by that in the least. I feel like the Mets have had it out there for a while. They have been the front runner for weeks now, and they're tired of waiting. They're tired of waiting. The fact that they put that out there is interesting to me, because I thought I truly, honestly thought last night deal would have been done, and today was just Trevor setting up his reveal, right? His YouTube reveal, and maybe that's not the case. I have a buddy who works at WFAN in New York, and he said no news, nothing happened. It's just that the Mets are the favorite. Which I think everybody has that impression. So it has been kept pretty close to the vest, which, again, I still feel like that meant that this thing was done. David, I see you. We'll give you a follow back. Mets Nation, follow back. Again, if you follow me while we're here, I'll follow you back on Twitter. But the whole point of this is, if you see something, you guys are my lookouts. I'm not following Thomas Nito. Trevor May tweeted last night about this thing. You guys might be following players that I'm not. You might be following media accounts that I'm not. So make sure that you can let me know, because, again, just saying it in the chat doesn't help, because anybody can say anything in the chat. They can say Trevor Bauer's going to Mars, and that, okay. But unless that tweet came from NASA and you tweeted it at me, I'm not buying it. So we're watching this thing. We're watching this. We're going to try to see what's going on with Trevor Bauer and the Mets. We're gonna hope we get something. Let's look. While we're hanging out here, again, we are 15 minutes away. Let's throw some Trevor Bauer strikeouts for you guys here while we wait.
Anytime you'd make a trade. And another breaking ball.
To Baez.
Back to work on Duvall, the 1-2.
Breaking ball. Development. Position to be in.
And a called strike 3.
All right, we are 15 minutes and counting for Trevor Bauer. We're going to go a little after 12 o'clock. Tyler is going to be picking it up. I'm pretty sure Wardy NYM is going to be going into his Trevor Bauer watch. So when I'm done, you guys know where to go. And he'll kind of take it the rest of the way. I'm going to go till a little bit after 12 o'clock, and we're going to see if we get some. I just want some news. I just want some information. I want to know from somebody something. This has got to be getting. We got to be getting close. We got to be getting to some kind of information. Now, whether one of the big guys breaks it or whether Trevor Bauer just pops up live in his car driving away from his meeting, doing a selfie video, maybe that's what we get. Maybe we get that around 12 o'clock from Trevor Bauer. Yes, James, Trevor Bauer and Jacob deGrom certainly would be one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball. That would be, and we talked about that, James. You got to be at the if you want to be in the World Series contender conversation, you got to have two aces at the top. The Yankees will have two aces at the top when you get to the postseason with Severino and Cole. The White Sox, you could argue, are there with Lynn and Giolito. The Dodgers are there. The Padres are there. The Braves are there. All these teams that want to be World Series contenders are there with two aces. You could make a case that the Mets are kind of there with Carrasco and DeGrom, but I feel like having Bauer and DeGrom, because they're going to get through the postseason and they're going to be a playoff contender. But what are they going to look like when they get into a 5-game series in the first round of the playoffs? If they can throw DeGrom and Bauer and Carrasco out there, that's pretty good. If they end up in a situation where it's DeGrom and Carrasco, and then number 3 looks iffy because maybe Syndergaard hasn't been on his game and Stroman has struggled and Peterson, that's where Bauer comes in here. Get you set up nicely for a 3-game series. If somebody's hurt, again, you're in a better position. So all of this for the Mets. Nate with a good point. Scherzer and Strasburg in a series. You want to be able to go head-to-head, toe-to-toe with the other team's aces, and you got to be countering with aces. Teams that are going to make a run for the World Series this year have two aces at the top. Bauer and DeGrom would be there. The Dodgers, they've already got two aces, in my opinion, with Kershaw and Buehler. They're there. This Bauer to LA thing would be if Bauer wanted a layup in the 2021 season. It will be harder to get through with the Mets. That's going to be a tougher regular season. The National League East is going to be probably the toughest division. The National League West is just top heavy, right? The Dodgers and Padres are going to beat up on everybody. But in the National League East, it's going to be everybody. The Marlins are going to be the best last place team in baseball. And that's what, the Mets are going to have to compete with the Braves. The Phillies aren't giving up. The Nats aren't giving up. The Nats have made moves with Bell and Schwarber to improve that lineup. So I think the Nats are going to be back and tough. You've got potentially 4 teams that are going to be 500, right? In the National League West, there's probably going to be 2 teams. So again, it's going to be tougher. I do think, Dylan, yes, I think it'll probably be the Mets. I think it's just all signs point in that direction. If I'm Trevor Bauer, I go to where I can get more years. I trust myself. I trust myself. But if you're coming off a Cy Young, he's never going to enter the market at a better time for his own value, right? How often do you enter the market coming off a Cy Young season? So I think it is going to go down that it will be the Mets, but we're tracking this thing. We are watching it. Let's go, Jays, Hockey Kid, Perry. I see you guys with some follows, so I'll follow you back. Again, if you follow me on Twitter while we're here, I'll follow you back. But the purpose of Twitter is for you guys to send me. You are my lookouts. You are a part of this. You are my beat reporters out there. Send me what you got. Any players that you're following, any local media that you're following. I'm following a bunch of it too, but I'm not following everybody. You guys are going to see stuff I don't see, and I want you to send it to me. And let's get this thing to as many likes as we can. We have 328 people in here now. We're at 82 likes. We're at 83 likes. Hit that like. Let's get this thing up to 100 likes in the next minute. Can we do that? If you're hanging out here, hit that like. David Knight, welcome in. David, a member. Kyle, a member. We have a few other members. I want to give some shout outs to our members of Ballcap Nation. You can go to the home page, the home channel page, and learn more about the memberships. But you get badges and emojis by doing that. And we have Kyle, we have David, we have Wardy. NYM is a member. Here is a member. And there's one more. I want to give everybody a shout out who is a member real quick while we roll through this thing. One more. We have about 5 or 6 members. I just want to give everybody a shout out who has taken that leap. Phil Borm is also a member. So thank you for everybody who's done that. But let's get this thing to 100 likes. We are over 100 likes just like that. Thank you, everybody, getting us there. That is one step closer to this 12 o'clock deadline and potentially some concrete Trevor Bauer information. I want to get some concrete information. BZ Baseball sending me some information. Everyone asked. So Momentum has tweeted. Everyone asking us when and where Bauer outage is signing. When in reality, we're just sitting here wondering the same thing. Come on, Momentum. Don't troll us like that. Don't do that. Don't be like that. Midwest Sports, thanks for sending that to me. BZ Baseball, thanks for sending that to me. This is going to turn into a decision 2.0. It's just a matter of, does Trevor Bauer have the ability to get into a studio and record the thing, or does he have to go after signing, go sit in the car and do a selfie video? Like that's what we're at. We are at T-minus 10 minutes to the deadline. Let's see. Let's go, Jays. I feel like it was what's happening? Right. I see you there. This is going to be a fun stretch. The next 10 minutes is a big 10 minutes. We are doing the Bauer Watch Friday edition. You know, how many more of these are we going to have to do? Let's get a decision. Let's get this thing. Let's move on so we can focus on Marcell Ozuna or Jake Odorizzi. Let's get this done. I do have a feeling, Kyle, it's a great question. If he's not signed by noon, do the Mets really walk? Wouldn't that be something? Can you imagine if at 12:05 we get something from Joel Sherman and he's out here saying Mets have pulled the offer, and we get that at 12:05, no decision made, Mets have pulled the offer? I have a feeling that Mets will just explode. Mets will just absolutely explode. Mets Twitter, Mets fandom, the whole thing will just, everyone's gonna have to go on, Scuffy and Wardy and who else? And Giraffe Neckmark. We have to check in on all these guys and see how they're doing, because those guys are going to need life support if that happens here. Thank you guys, everybody that is finding the channel for the first time. Again, please subscribe. If you're finding me for the first time, come on and join Ballcap Nation, as baseball is life. I think this is a good place for you to be, so do that. I think you won't regret it. And I do say this too. Listen, anybody that is a content creator, if you're creating content, I'll give you a shout out. I'm trying to grow Yanks and Mets news. I think you're probably trying to do something. So definitely David Knight is creating content. Guys that are creating content, if you're creating content, hit me in the chat, comment in the chat that you're creating content. Love to give you a shout out, because we're all trying to grow together. That's what this channel is about. It's as much about you guys as it is about me. Serious drama thinking he's going to the Dodgers. Listen, we'll find out. We might find out in 8 minutes. Or we won't. This thing could drag on. Thank you, everybody that is here. We're over 360 people. I appreciate everybody that's checking this out. A lot of new eyeballs in here, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Abby wondering, my favorite team is the Blue Jays. So I don't have a dog in this fight. Not only is my favorite team not in the division, but we're in a different league. So I don't have a dog in this fight. This is fantastic theater. This is great baseball stuff. If you're a fan of baseball, this is just fun. Andrew Lee's creating. Let me check Twitter a second. Andrew Lee is creating Andrew Baseball. Right on. Again, let's see. We got Twitter. What do we got? What do we have? Sources say there's, in fact, no noon deadline for Trevor Bauer to make his decision. That is interesting. That is coming from a Mets beat reporter for the New York Daily News, Disha Toshar, maybe? So much information is just out of control right now. If Joel Sherman is coming on with the deadline, let's see, and then Andy Martino, mixed signals at best from people involved in Bauer talks, whether there is in fact a deadline. This deadline thing is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Here we go, guys. Let's do this real quick. We do this every now and then. Again, it's all about you too. If you think there's a deadline, hit the 1. If you think there's no deadline and this is all smoke signals, hit the 2. 1 for a deadline, 2 if it's BS and there's no deadline and we're just all here wasting our breath. Poor Tyler's going to be live for 8 hours again if that's the case. Hit the 1 if you think there's a deadline, 2 if you think it's garbage, because we're getting some conflicting reports on if there's actually a deadline or not. We are 6 minutes away from a potential deadline. We are going to have to wait and see. Let's see. That's old from John Heyman. Let's check one more thing. Let's just check. Yeah, here we go. Bauer is the top trending thing right now. Joel Sherman. Now, when he put that tweet out, he said he heard the Mets set a noon deadline. He didn't say sources, right? That's an important part of this. He didn't say sources say there's a noon deadline. He just said that he heard there's a Mets deadline. Very important, piece there with his information. More from Sherman. Yeah, so we're just kind of, we got 5 minutes from the deadline. 5 minutes from the deadline. Do we think we'll get anything? If is Joel Sherman going to come out and back up his tweet about there being a deadline? Because that would be fascinating. If he comes out at 12:05 and says, sorry, guys, false alarm. I don't mean to be looking away from the camera, guys. I'm refreshing my stuff. You guys are sending me information. I appreciate that. Again, at Jim Riley Live, if you see something, say something. You are my lookouts. I'm not following everybody. I'm following a lot, but I'm not following everybody. So if you see something, I need you guys to say something. This is crazy. We got 400 people hanging out here. I appreciate this, guys. We're going to go till about 12:15. We're going to hang out for a little while longer because the deadline, the rumor deadline at this point, we can't even say it's solid anymore because people are backing that up. It's 12 o'clock. So we're going to see what happens here. If it's 12 o'clock, maybe we get some kind of information. 400 people here. Welcome in, everybody. I think that if we get to 12 o'clock and we don't hear anything, I'm going to be interesting. I'll be interested to see what happens. Again, we got some more information. Draftneck Mark has tweeted there is no noon deadline. So Mark is saying there is no noon deadline. You got to think he's pretty close there, right? I believe he's met Trevor on a few occasions. So there may not be a deadline. We're going to hang out here for a few more minutes. We're going to get through till after 12 o'clock. We're going to see what comes out. I'm fascinated now to see what Joel Sherman's next tweet is. Does he back it up, or is he going to sort of be, sheepish about, sorry, guys, didn't mean to do that. We have a lot of people now this is funny. Now that we're getting to 12 o'clock, all of the tweets are now coming out that there is no noon deadline. Everybody, now that we're getting there, we're starting to back off that. I really want to see what comes from Sherman. And everybody's taking, Disha. Disha's the big one. At Disha Thesor, I don't know how to pronounce that. But Disha, a Mets beat reporter, is saying there is no noon deadline. No in all caps. So, okay, let's see. We're getting close to noon. We're going to stay on till noon, a little bit after, just to see what happens. I want to see something from one of the big guys on this deadline. That's what I want to see. I want to see one of the big guys. I want to see Sherman because he's the one that put it out there. I want to see Heyman. I want to see, once we roll past 12 o'clock in the East, I want to see what somebody says, because we've got some other accounts saying that there is no deadline, but I want to see what there is. Again, welcome in Yanks and Mets News for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the follow on Twitter. If you guys see something, say something. Yes, let's get this thing to 200 likes. We have 416 people hanging out in here. We're about 50 likes away from 200. Let's get there. How quickly can you guys get this thing to 200 likes? Can you get this thing to 200 likes in the next minute? If you're here hanging out, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're just finding the channel for the first time today, we do this. We did Springer Watch. We were doing Bauer Watch last night. If you're all about baseball and baseball conversation, baseball is life, I think Ballcap Nation is a good place for you to be. So hit the subscribe and join the community that we're building here. So thank you guys for that. A great question. Why would there be a deadline? That is a fantastic question. If a deal's close, I mean, when I saw that tweet from Joel Sherman, the first thing that came into my mind was just interesting, because they want to have a good relationship, right? If they want to have a good relationship, why would the Mets put a deadline? Trevor Bauer is not going to react well to that, right? Trevor Bauer is going to say, forget you guys then. I don't care about your deadline. Do you understand? I don't think he would respond well to that, but I still want to see what Joel Sherman says next. He has said nothing since the deadline. I'm really interested to see what he says next. I want to see what Heyman says. Passan has been very quiet this whole time. So we haven't heard anything from Passan. Heyman has been quiet. I'm just checking my alerts. Let's see here. We've got, let's see, I'm just checking my folks here. It's been quiet. We haven't heard anything from John Heyman in 45 minutes. Ken Rosenthal's been quiet. Joel Sherman's been quiet. Everybody's been quiet. Jason Stark's been quiet. JP Morosi's been quiet. That's it. That's it, you know. So we're watching here. It is 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Ding, ding, ding. The bell is hit. It is 12 o'clock. We're a few likes away from 200. If you're here in the stream and you haven't hit that like yet, take a poke at the like and get this thing to 200. If you want some news, if you want something from somebody, I don't think we're going to get a Trevor Bauer has signed in the next 5 minutes. I would be very surprised. Yes, Happy New Year, everybody. The new Bauer year. This is going to be, what is it? We had BC, right? There's BC and AD. It was before Bauer, before, up until 12 o'clock, and this will be AB. From now on, this will be 2/5/21 AB. After Bauer, we're at 12:01. We are at 200 likes. Thank you guys for getting us to 200 likes. Thank you for being here. 450 people, guys. I'm thrilled to have you in here. We are going to go for about 15 more minutes just to see if there's anything. Somebody's got to say something. Heyman sort of backed up. Didn't he back up the Sherman tweet? I know that Draftneck Mark has said that there is no, there's nothing. Mark, if you're sort of surfing around and maybe you're in here or he might be watching Wardy, I got to think he's probably popping around some things. I would love somebody that maybe is got a Mets point of view. What do you think? I mean, is there anything? What do we got? Let's see here. Sherman. Again, Sherman has done it. I'm going to look at Sherman. Let's see. Wait, did he pull it down? No way. Wait. Bauer will have a great contract. The Mets deal. Heard the Dodgers have the other team. I heard the Mets have a new deadline. Okay, I want to see his comments at this point. If you see something, yes, I did see Nick. I did see that they tweeted something. It wasn't very helpful what Momentum did. MLB Joey, no deadline. It's interesting. The whole no deadline thing didn't pop off until about 10 minutes ago. We got close to the deadline, and then all of a sudden there was a wave of no deadline. So was there a deadline and the Mets pulled that back because Trevor Bauer got on the phone and told them to F off with their deadline? I could see that happening. There is absolutely no way that he would be into that. Let's see. Blue Jays fan, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, everyone that's here. 455 likes. If you want Trevor Bauer to get this thing done today, hit that like. And again, if this is your first time finding the channel, please subscribe. Good job, buddy. So we are rocking and rolling here. 459 people. Thank you guys for being in here. Is there a deadline? It doesn't sound like it. That has been backed up. I want to see what we get. Again, you guys, if you see something, say something. Send it to me on Twitter at Jim Riley Live. Good point. Let's go Jays at Big Jays on Twitter. Sending me. But then why would Nito send the tweet? Now, Thomas Nito probably doesn't know exactly everything that's going on. Let's see. Frank sending me 10:50 a.m. SNY's Andy Martino tweets that there are mixed signals regarding whether there is a firm deadline from the Mets to Bauer. Thoshar tweets, there's not a concrete deadline in place, but a decision is expected soon. A decision is coming. No doubt about it. A decision is coming. It's got to be today, right? It has to be today. Now, is it now or is it in 6 hours? We're going to see. We are going to watch this. I would love for Joel Sherman to say something. We are 4 minutes past the Joel Sherman deadline that he reported the Mets had. I guess, do you want to call it reporting? All he said was he heard that there was a deadline. So we're going to watch this and see what happens, how this goes. Again, we were talking about it. We were thinking about Bauer and what it could be. I mean, let's look at his projection for the 2021 season. This is from the Baseball Forecaster. If you follow that stuff, that is Ron Chandler. They look at all of the metrics. They take a look at everything. Now, the wins, listen, the wins are tough. It's tough to project wins, right? When he put this projection out, he didn't know what team Trevor Bauer was going to be playing on. I think Trevor Bauer with the Mets is at least 15 wins. But that K rate, the ERA, the whip, in the chat, listen, I said it 10 minutes ago. You guys are an important part of this situation that we're in. Let me know what you think. Is he going over these numbers? Is he going to be under these numbers, or does it look good? 1 for over, 2 for under, 3 for looks good. Let me know what you think on the Trevor Bauer projection. I think his wins, I think he goes over in wins. I think that K's look about right. That ERA and that whip, if he can get that ERA and whip, that would be great. we know it's not going to be 2020 Trevor Bauer, right? We can all agree on that, right? It's not going to be the Trevor Bauer that we saw in 2020. It'll probably be somewhere between 2020 and what he's been for the rest of his career. And if that's the case, then that's the ERA and that's the whip that we'll get. We got Bauer's in LA, but he lives out there. That's where he is, isn't he? I'm pretty sure that's where Bauer's at. So that doesn't, I don't know if that's a clue. Thank you guys again, everybody that is here. Over 440 people strong. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I do truly appreciate it. We are going to be watching this thing for a little while longer to see if there's any news. At this point, I'm waiting to see what the big guys say. What does Sherman say? What does Heyman say? What are they going to say? That is what is next, in my opinion, is we need to hear from somebody, because they all saw it. You kidding me? Joel Sherman, he travels in that circle with Heyman and Passan and Rosenthal and Morosi and all those guys. They know each other. So I got to think that somebody would chime in. I'm surprised Nightingale hasn't chimed in. Nightingale would love to jump on this thing and give something. Let's see. Yep, I did see that, Frank. Thank you for sending that to me. From Momentum, everyone is asking us when and where Bauer outage is signing, when in reality, we're just sitting here wondering the same thing. So Momentum is trolling us. Thank you, Momentum, for that. We'll see. This is fascinating. Again, anybody that follows me during the live stream, I'll follow you back. So Coffin, Ryan Vital, and Mark Jones, thank you for the follow. I'll follow you back real quick. On Twitter, you guys are my lookouts. So you guys tell me what you see. You tweet it at me. And from there, there's baseball talk all day long. Baseball talk all day long. So we've got all sorts of stuff, trying to create some content on there too. Let's see if the Mets wait. Yes, if I were Trevor Bauer, I would totally wait. This is from Jenny Mets Report. Looks like he's been all over the place. He's got a decent following. I am 100% on board with that. If I'm Trevor Bauer, I would wait to sign or post on my YouTube until this evening at 7 or 8. Totally. Anybody that, I went on Wardy NYM yesterday after my stream, and we talked about it, and that was sort of my prediction, is that he would wait until prime time in the East to make this, especially if he's going to the Mets. Especially if it's a Mets thing, wait till prime time. Wait till folks are out of work. Wait till as many people as possible can get to your YouTube channel and post that thing. Midwest Sports Momentum went to Wardy's channel. Did they hop on there and talk? I wouldn't be surprised. Wardy has a great Mets following. Wardy has a fantastic Mets following. Tyler's doing a fantastic job over there for Mets coverage and Mets fans. It's great. It's a great place to be. And that's where when we wrap, I want you guys to go check out Tyler and hang out there, because he'll be doing Bauer Watch probably for a while. Can we get somebody big to say this thing? Sources say Bauer's using Mets as leverage. No deal right now. He prefers Dodgers. That comes from Sports Guy. Listen, I say that because that's somebody's opinion. That has been my opinion too throughout this Bauer Watch situation. I wouldn't be surprised if he's using the Mets to get the offer up. I think that DJ LeMahieu used the Blue Jays and the Dodgers to get his offer up with the Yankees. I mean, this happens, right? This is a negotiation tactic. I still think that the Mets would be the favorite. If he goes to the Dodgers, it's a layup. It's a layup to get to the playoffs, get to the World Series. The Mets placing a 12 o'clock deadline is fascinating, because I don't think Trevor Bauer would respond well to that. So we're at 12:10. We are 10 minutes past that supposed deadline that we heard from Joel Sherman about an hour ago, and we're waiting to see what's next. What is going to come from any of these guys, any of these main guys? That's what we're looking for. What do you expect him? Mets fans that are in here, what do you expect from Trevor Bauer in a 2021 season? You've seen the ups and downs. We've all seen the ups and downs. What are you expecting from him? Are you expecting him to be right up there with Jacob deGrom and those two just bulldogging it all year long, competing with each other, pushing with each other, matching each other? Or is Bauer going to, struggle with his new surroundings? What are you expecting from Trevor Bauer in a new setting with this team? it's sort of the elephant in the room is the rest of his career outside of last season. He's hitting the market at a great time, which is why I think he's more likely to go to the Mets, because he's not going to have the same season he had last year. That's not going to happen again. I would be very surprised if he has back-to-back Cy Young seasons. He could still have a very good season. Ian's got a 3.10 ERA, 200 Ks. He still have a very good season, but he's not going to have that season. And that season is what's going to get him a $40 million offer for a year from the Mets, and $40 million for year 2, and maybe $40 million from the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are only willing to go 1. Lock that in for as long as you can, because he may hit the market next year and he may be looking at $25 million because he posts a 3.75 ERA and has a 500 record. You take what you can get at this point. I think you got to take the best. We're keeping an eye on it, and it's eerily quiet from Joel Sherman. Again, he's the one who was out there with that deadline. You got to think it's up to him to come out and say, 10 minutes past the deadline, here's what I'm hearing now. Somebody's got to have something like that. And I think if anything happens, it'll be something along the lines of, deadline has passed, heard that negotiations are ongoing, decision will be made by Trevor Bauer this evening, right? Like something like that. Something along those lines. Robbie Hyde is watching this thing. We're all watching this thing. Thank you, Andrew, for sending me that. Again, if you see something, send it to me. I want to see what you guys are seeing on Twitter. Again, because I've got who I'm following. You've got other followers. Let's see. I do have one of my buddies. I'm getting a tweet. Mets expect Bauer decision soon. That is a report. That's from MLB.com. Let me pull up MLB.com real quick. While I'm doing that, everybody that's in here and hanging out, hit that like if you want Bauer to sign and get this thing done with. Get it done. Let's move on to the next guy. Poor Dexter Fowler gets traded and nobody cares because we're all talking about Trevor Bauer. Let's see here. So hit that like if you want this Bauer decision to come today, if you want it done. And again, make sure you subscribe. If baseball is life, if you are into Major League Baseball, this is a good place for you. Baseball is life here on this channel, and I think that it's a good bet. We're going to do a lot. I got a lot of good things planned moving forward. And Ken Rosenthal tweeting, but it is unrelated to this situation. Going to MLB.com, they do have a story. Mets expect Bauer decision soon. This is from 6 minutes ago. Who wrote this? Trying to get the writer for this. We don't have, they're just aggregating. They're just pulling everything together. So MLB.com does have sort of an up-to-the-minute reporting on what's going on. And we are still in that waiting mode where we had the Sherman tweet saying that it is there. Heard Dodgers remain the other team in on Bauer. Mets have been concerned that Bauer prefers his home. So they don't want to be used. This is from Joel Sherman at 10:50. That he doesn't. The Bauers are concerned. The Mets are concerned that they are being maybe used. So that's why they put. That's why the word is that they put a deadline. But then again, Disha came out and said that there is in fact no deadline. So MLB.com. Mets expect Bauer decision soon. So let's see what happens here. This is going to be. Something. Let's go, Jays. Have you heard the rumblings about the Jays doing something soon? It's been hidden all over Asia. I think the Blue Jays probably do have some things in the mix, but I think this Bauer thing has to happen for some of those things to go down. The Trevor Bauer, when he signs, I have a feeling that there will be a lot of moves that come after that. That is my prognostication, is that once Bauer signs, then all of a sudden Jake Odorizzi will set his market. And then the teams will make the move for Odorizzi. Teams that pass on Odorizzi from his market will make other moves. Like you'll see a flurry of moves that come from Trevor Bauer finally signing. The Blue Jays will get active. I think a few other teams that are trying to put their rotation together will get active. Where do I think Ozuna goes? Well, it sounds like it's down between the Rays and the Braves. I think it'll probably be the Braves. I think he can get a multi-year deal from the Braves. I think it's a one-year deal if he goes to the Rays. And why would Marcell Ozuna want to put himself through a one-year deal again? If he can get some money, get that money, Marcell Ozuna. We're talking everything here. If you are a fan of the Mets, I think this is a good place for you. Make sure you subscribe. You know, if you're a fan of the Pirates, or if you're a fan of the Blue Jays, if you're a fan of any team, I think this is a good place for you. I keep it, you know, I am a Jays fan, but I keep it across the board here too. We do a ton of baseball content, not just Trevor Bauer and Mets. We cover everything. So this is a good place. You can check the channel and see everything that we've done. You'll see that there's a lot of content across the board. So we're watching. I don't see anything happening. We're at 12:15. We're 15 minutes past. It is all quiet right now. So here's what we're going to do. We're at 421 people. Make sure you hit the like. What we're going to do next, Mark Feinsand tweeting, the Mets have won their arbitration case against J.D. Martinez. A little bit of Mets news. Mets win their arbitration case against J.D. Martinez. He will earn $2.1 million. He had filed for 2.475. So we're in February, so we're going to start to get some of these arbitration hearings done, and we'll get some information on that. I mean, these guys are coming back. They just might not be as happy because they're coming back for less. Again, if you see something, say something. So when we hop off, you know, I'd love for you to follow me and stay with me because, you know, a lot of times I'll get the news from you guys tweeting it at me that something's going down. So make sure you guys are my beat reporters. You guys are my lookout. You guys are there because there's guys I'm not following, and you might be. So I appreciate that. Let's see here. We're at 237 likes. Can we get to 250? Can we get to 250? We have 429 people in here. If you're hanging out and you haven't hit that like yet, please hit that like. Let's get to 250 before we get another minute long. Yes, Kyle, we did see that. We were just talking about the J.D. Davis piece. So let's get this thing to 250. If you haven't hit the like yet, poke at that like, poke at the thumbs up, and let's get this thing to 250. And again, if you're just finding me for the first time, would love for you to subscribe and join our community that we're building. I wish we could get something. Feinsand talking about the arbitration. Rosenthal not talking about anything related to this. So it is quiet. Now it's funny because these guys, these reporters are quick to backtrack for other guys, right? If you know, when Rosenthal said that hand deal was done, Feinsand was on it quick. I think Heyman was on it quick that it wasn't done. When Nightingale was out there saying a deal was done, Feinsand was out there right away saying no deal is done. I'm surprised that none of those guys jumped on Joel Sherman about the deadline because it came out about 10 minutes before 12 o'clock that there was no deadline, right? When we got close to the deadline, all of a sudden the deadline wasn't there anymore. So that's kind of fascinating to me. So we're just going to kind of watch that as we go. As we get moving, and we're over 250. We're at 273. Can we get to 300? Oh my gosh, guys, we're 27 likes away from 300. Is there any way we could do that? Is that even possible? Can we get to 300 in the next like 2 or 3 minutes? I don't know if that's possible. We might have to hang out for a few more minutes. Looks like today is going to be the day for arbitration cases. Mark Feinsand is getting active. Orioles won their arbitration case against Santander. He's going to earn $2.1 million. He had filed for 2.45. G-Man Choi won his case against the Rays. He'll earn 2.45. The team had filed for 1.85. Listen, those arbitration cases, woof. I wouldn't want to be in that room. You basically have the team saying to the player, you're not as good as you think you are. So that's crazy. Yeah, we got the Santander news. Mark Feinsand is all about that news right now. Trevor Rosenthal. So that is the funny thing about some of these guys. Like there are definitely some players that the market's held up and they haven't made their decision because of Bauer. But then there's a lot of guys that really are not impacted. And I feel like, Trevor Rosenthal is one of those guys that is not impacted. He could sign regardless. Colomé signed. He was not impacted by the whole thing. So we're just going to kind of watch the thing. We are 14 likes away from 300. That's the push. Want to get to 300 likes. Anybody new that's hopping in here? I think we have like 10 or 15 new people in the last 30 seconds. So if you're just hopping in, if you want Trevor Bauer to sign, if you want this to be over, if you want the deal done so we can move on, hit that like. Let's get him signed. Let's get a Trevor Bauer deal done. I want to just get someone to talk. I want Joel Sherman to address the talk of his deadline, which again, kind of backed it out. How it kind of works out, we're going to see. We are going to see. Again, we talked about it before. We'll talk about it again. A Mets rotation with Trevor Bauer is just crazy. Marcus Stroman was a 1 in Toronto. He would be the 5 with a Mets rotation with Trevor Bauer. Syndergaard, I know Syndergaard's not going to be back right away, so move Carrasco up to 3, move Stroman up to 4, and maybe Peterson or Yamamoto or Lucchesi is the 5. I mean, that's the other beautiful thing. If you're Mets, like that rotation now goes 7 deep. So you got spot starters. You're not going to have to worry about bullpen games. You got a great situation from from a rotation standpoint if Trevor Bauer comes on board. That would be a great situation to be in there. And we are over 300 likes. Thank you, everybody, for getting us to 301 likes on this. We are hope for some good news. MLB trade rumors, Marcell Ozuna's market is moving forward. We could have Marcell Ozuna going today. Come on, Joel. We need something from Joel. Update us, man. It is just all quiet from Joel. Thank you guys for getting it to 300 likes in just over 50 minutes. Thank you, everybody that has been here. This has been fun. This has been Bauer Watch, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to keep an eye on this. I would really love for you guys to follow me on Twitter, find me on Twitter. Let me know if you hear something. If you hear something when we're not up and running, still send it to me. Let me know. Let's find this thing out together. Let's break it down. You guys are my lookouts, okay? Even when I'm not streaming, you guys can be my lookout. Let me know what you hear, what you see, because it's been quiet on the Trevor Bauer front for about a half an hour now. So here's what we're going to do, gang. I appreciate everybody for coming in. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Check out some of the other videos that we've been doing. There's been a lot of Bauer Watch content on here. Did a Bauer Watch simulation for the 2021 Mets to see how far they could go, how many wins they could do. If you're a big Bauer fan, if you're a Mets fan, you might be interested in that. You can find that on the channel. Please subscribe again if you haven't already. If the memberships are live now, those are on the main page. I'm going to send you guys to Wardy NYM. If you haven't heard of him yet, big Mets fan, a lot of Mets content. Want you guys to go to Wardy NYM. I think I know he's streaming. I don't know of anybody else that's streaming right now, but I would encourage you to go to Wardy NYM to keep the Bauer Watch going. Tell him I sent you, and head on over there. On your way out, hit the like. I'm going to wrap this thing up and wind this thing down with some more Bauer strikeouts. So hang out for that. And again, stay close to the channel. We'll be back when this thing heats up again. I'm going to be back on. We'll talk about it some more. But until then, enjoy the Bauer strikeouts. Go check out Wardy for some more Bauer Watch. And when something happens, guys, I will be back.
Picking up right where he left off to ball up today. And that's strike 3 called. Blew him away with a fastball.
Why not?
Little check swing and diving is Bauer. He'll get up and throw him out.
Struck him out. 1-2. Swing and a miss. And how about Trevor Bauer?